All right, man, peace. So, as most of us know by now, the super liberal black female sportscaster from ESPN, Jamele Hill, decided that she was going to create chaos on the internet, on Twitter, on social media, by claiming or asserting her racialist alter. As I've told you, brothers, in the past, the modern day liberal black female has three alter egos. She has the racialist alter, the globalist alter, and the feminist alter, which is her main alter ego. Jamele Hill, of course, being a super liberal black female. As I said, they're agents of chaos, and their number one drug addiction is attention. And that is what she exhibited in her rant. And let me say this, brothers, before I start the video. I make videos about certain people that I see because I can tell that they are going to make a splash later on. That's why you'll see I have a lot of videos focusing on Sports Center with Jamele Hill and Michael Smith, as well as Christine He Raped Me Leahy. I told you, brothers, about those females long before they made their splash in in their little storylines. Christine He Raped Me Leahy with LeVar Ball, and now Jamele Hill with her Donald Trump attention mongering. But let's see what they have to say. Of course, I'm going to chime in.
The White House is now calling for an ESPN star's job over anti-Trump tweets, and now Colin Kaepernick is even weighing in. Welcome to TMZ Sports 70 with Van and Michael J. Babcock.
Notice he said, and Colin Kaepernick is weighing in. Why is Colin Kaepernick weighing in on what Jamele Hill said, but he won't weigh in on himself? Could it be because maybe this little event involving Jamele Hill was orchestrated? Maybe she's associated with Black Lives Matter behind the scenes, right? Which seems to be the group that is involved in, one of the groups that's involved in the manufacturing of the Colin Kaepernick narrative, and as well as the Michael Bennett narrative. It was just interesting to see Colin Kaepernick, come out of his tunnel, out of his hole, to support Jamele Hill's ramblings. Very, very interesting.
Man, the battle lines are drawn now over Jamele Hill at ESPN. She's the host of the flagship show over there, Sports Center.
Yeah.
Very famous person.
We gotta say, probably one of the highest profile ESPN personalities out there right now.
One of the most famous.
Well, yeah, she's very high profile, her and Michael Smith. Why is that? Because they've been put in a certain position by the Caucasian liberals that run ESPN, a Disney subsidiary. Their job is to make Sports Center and ESPN at large culturally relevant in prime time. That's very, very common. They'll take, a couple of so-called black people and put them on Front Street and say, look, you guys know the lingo. You know what the kids like. You know what's quote unquote hot in these streets. Go ahead and, put it out there. We'll give you the spotlight. We'll allow you to state your opinions. As I've already stated, ESPN is very monolithic in their message. They support liberal movements. Okay? You cannot be anti-liberal and be on ESPN. They will remove you. So a lot of this is coordinated. This is very, very good for their brand, the Sports Center brand, that being the counterculture, quote unquote, speak your mind, attack the establishment, agency of chaos type of environment that they're setting up there, involving the two liberal black sports anchors. As I've noted many times in the past, this is very good for their brand. At least I should say it's very good for their brand, in the esteem of the Twitter, social media, the woke conglomerate, their woke audience that they covet so much. I'm sure that she's gotten a lot of messages from the pro-blacks and the liberal blacks in her mentions and in her mailbox in regards to how proud they are of her. A lot of these pro-black dudes, they damn near ejaculate in their pants whenever they hear a black woman say anything pro-black, because, they're so desperate for the black woman's co-signature on their philosophies. But as I've said, most of it is an act. Most of it is just attention mongering. It's not sincere. It's not based in any form of so-called black liberation. All it is attention mongering. Believe me. And you brothers are going to learn that sooner or later. At least the ones of you who are meant to learn it. The ones of you who are not meant to learn it are going to fall into the same traps that a lot of other simpletons fall into. It's called child support, court cases, incarceration, so on and so forth. But I blame you, black man, like I always say. I blame you. I don't blame them. I don't blame the liberal black female. She's just doing her job. Okay? Like I said, they're like the character that Sharon Stone played in Total Recall. Their job is to make sure that you're always off balance and that you stay in line.
Most famous people in all of sports reporting, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, she's earned it.
Here's the thing. Very outspoken anti-Trump person. Doesn't like Trump, has never liked Trump, has made her opinions very clear for a very long time. But a lot of people feel like she crossed the line the other day on September 11th when she tweeted out, quote, Donald Trump is a white supremacist who has largely surrounded himself with other white supremacists.
Let me say this. This is not the first time that Jamele Hill has been involved in, quote unquote, racially inflammatory statements. She was suspended by ESPN a few years ago for comparing a coach, I believe it was John Calipari, to Hitler. It wasn't in a racial context. It was in a different context. But of course, the Caucasian Jews got wind of it and they suspended her immediately. Supposedly, there was talks of getting rid of her over these comments here, but Michael Smith stood up for her. And let me say this. Even though I speak a lot against the liberal blacks and the pro blacks because a lot of them are fake, Michael Smith did the right thing. That is your partner. You go all out for your partner. You go all out for the people that's in your crew that you call your brothers or your sisters. You go all out. All right. And he did what he was supposed to do. If the story that I've read is true, that they came to him and to them stating that they were going to get rid of her. And he said, we're a package deal. So he did the right thing by standing by his partner. I don't agree with her rants. I think that her rants are simple-minded, two-dimensional thoughts, indicative of an agent of chaos who's looking for attention as usual. But, it is what it is. That's the liberal black female. You brothers have to concentrate on higher level things, man. Because you're going to find, like I said before, the liberal black female uses misdirection, right? One statement, she's talking about white supremacy. The next statement, she's talking about love is love. People can love whoever they want. If I'm with a white man, so what? If Serena Williams is with a white man, so what? If somebody is transgender, so what? Right? That's the globalist angle. Then you have the feminist angle, which is their main alter ego, which is a woman could do whatever a man could do. You men and all this other stuff. So, you brothers got to be very, very careful. But I already know most of you pro-black dudes, you're not going to understand it. You guys are going to get enraptured by a little silly shit like this over social media.
And then she said, he is the most ignorant, offensive president of my lifetime. His rise is a direct result of white supremacy.
No. Trump is not the most ignorant, offensive president of anybody's lifetime. He's just the president. The true ignorant people are the citizens of the United States who believe that the president is the one who is running the goings on of the American government. All he is an exalted secretary. His job is to sign off on bills. His job is to make sure that the money keeps rolling in so that they can pay off the debt to the international bankers through the Federal Reserve. That's his only job. That's why wars get fought. Wars get fought to gain natural resources, to plunder other countries so that they can pay back their debt. That's it. And everybody here, is a debt slave, period. But as I've stated in the past in previous videos, one of the favorite terms that liberal black women like to use is ignorant. Whenever they see somebody that they don't like, who makes a statement that they disagree with, they call them ignorant. It makes them feel empowered. It's like the pro-blacks who use the word coon. Right? The word coon has become a word of empowerment for low-level crab niggas. Right? Anytime that somebody makes a statement that they disagree with, it's because that person is a so-called coon. And they use the word totally out of its proper context. But that's common because most of our people don't read. All right? They don't read and they don't understand what's going on around them. But anyway, back to her statement. She said, Trump is the most ignorant, offensive president of my lifetime. Well, if he's offensive, that means that he's offensive to you. Right? He might not be offensive to everyone else. His rise is a direct result of white supremacy. No, his rise is a direct result of a certain portion of this country feeling disempowered, invalidated. All right, if you really pay attention, Trump is really championed by white trash. Those are, for the most part, the people who champion him. Those of us in the know understand that it really doesn't make a difference who the president is per se. Now, Trump is maybe in danger of getting himself in trouble, as I've stated in the past, because he's doing things that may mess with certain people's money, the money flow. They're getting mad about him repealing DACA. Why? Because the Mexicans come in here as cheap labor. They're virtual slave labor. It's bad for business to not allow illegal immigrants into America. You understand? This is why I called him a little fly in the ointment. I had some guy on one of the videos say, "Oh, don't be fooled. Trump is down." Look, these people are not in lockstep. All right. When you get to the higher levels, yes, they all serve the same forces or the same force, but they're not in lockstep. All right. They're not in lockstep. They do not all agree with each other. They do agree with killing off some of their opponents to get to a higher level in the pyramid. They're not in lockstep. They do have disagreements in regards to methodologies and what to accomplish and how to accomplish it. Yes, a lot of what they do on TV is playing a role, like Hillary Clinton, as I call her. She's playing a role. She's been involved in the shadow government running America since the 80s. Okay, she just happens to be a buffoon who can't control herself and a big rampant lesbian. But we'll cover that a little later. But Jemele Hill's statement is very indicative of low-level, silly blacks who are frustrated that they can't get a hug from the Caucasian man or woman. That's really all this is about. She's frustrated. She wants a hug.
Period. A lot of people agree with it. A lot of people it rubbed the wrong way.
Yeah, she's so pro-black. She got a damn big ass fake piece of fake hair on top of her head, trying to look like Farrah Fawcett.
It became a big thing on social media. It was highly debated.
Yeah,
and today,
absolutely a dividing line. Also
right.
Polarizing.
And earlier today, during a briefing at the White House in front of reporters, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, who is the White House press secretary, was asked straight up what she thinks if Donald Trump knows and if Jemele should be fired from ESPN. And this is what she said as a spokesperson for the White House. Take a look.
Do you have a reaction to that? Is the president aware of that comment? And
I'm not sure if he's aware, but I think that's one of the more outrageous comments that anyone could make, and certainly something that I think is a fireable offense by ESPN.
Yeah,
I agree. I think it is a fireable offense. All right, and certain people might not like that. I really don't give a shit. You're a public figure. You're not supposed to be on Twitter making those type of inflammatory statements, even if that's what you believe. All right, you keep that for the private sector. There are Caucasians that's on that network who most likely voted for Trump. If they were to go on the internet and say that they believe that Barack Obama is a terrorist and, that he's a part of Al-Qaeda and that he is not an American citizen, they should be fired too. That is not your job. You are a public figure, all right? You represent the, you are an asset of ESPN. Your job is to report the sports, okay? You must understand that you're not, you're not Shaniqua working at the post office. Okay, nobody really cares about what Shaniqua was talking about. You are Jamele Hill. You are a public figure, and you do have influence over other people. When you go on social media and start talking about who came up through white supremacy and all this other silly shit, and he's the most ignorant president ever. Well, you would have to state what he's ignorant of. If you don't like certain statements that he's made in regards to immigrants and women, then be specific. Be specific. When you start using terms like so-called white supremacy, you're talking about things that have gone back hundreds of years. You're not talking about Donald Trump, right? So-called black people think that they're making these enlightened statements to talk about Donald Trump. The problems that our people have existed long before Donald Trump, okay? A lot of you niggas are just looking for somebody to point the finger at because the last 8 years with Obama made you feel like you were getting closer to getting that hug. All right. These people don't want to give you a hug. All right. And let me say this. You niggas don't deserve a hug until you feel like you're strong enough and brave enough to actually hug your own people. Right? You niggas don't want to hug your own, but you want to hug the damn white man and the white woman, and they don't want to hug you. All right? So stop trying to cover for it by trying to act like you're so socially and racially woke and all this other silly shit. All right? If you was to ask the average so-called black person about their history, they don't know. All right? And that's why they have no culture. That's why our people do not have a good intra-racial economy, and that's why we have no political power. If you want political power, that's the process. Okay? But there's too many, there's too much interference being run by socially conscious, quote unquote, liberal black women like Jemele Hill. The same way that she called Trump ignorant, she called a so-called black man ignorant too, who didn't want that hug. I guarantee you that.
Yeah,
Wow.
to me, what she says, I think that's a fireable offense. To me, the way I interpret that is she wants ESPN to take action. She wants them to fire Jamele Hill right now.
So to me, the way I interpret it is that was the executive branch, the White House, calling for the termination of a sports reporter over something they put on.
Right. It's not.
No, I think that's Sarah Huckabee giving her own opinion about what should happen to a journalist who decided to broadcast their personal opinion, which is quite uninformed, just due to how vague it was. You know, her opinion of what should happen. And let's be very, very, very for real right here. People are getting fired over what they say on social media in all walks of life and in all job structures, not just at ESPN. So everybody has to be careful about what they say over social media if you're working for a corporation. That is a fact. You have regular Joe Blows out here who are getting fired off of things that they post on Twitter and on Instagram and on Facebook. So it wouldn't be a new precedent that was set if Jamele Hill was let go over her statements.
It's not Donald Trump speaking, but she is the person that speaks for Donald Trump.
Okay, so here's
Donald Trump don't give two shits about that stuff. I mean, if it was brought to his attention, I'm sure that he'd have something slick to say. But I mean, come on, man. That man don't give a shit about that right now. Right now, that man's trying to figure out how to blow up the people over there in North Korea without anybody knowing about it, allegedly.
Here's the thing. The athletes have kind of drawn the battle lines here, and they've taken sides.
Okay.
Some of them have come out. Colin Kaepernick, we're with you. Jamele Hill. Reggie...
I don't know who he is. I guess that's the woke committee. All the lesbians that he's working with down at the Black Lives Matter movement. All the lesbians are homosexuals.
Reggie Miller, I'm on Team Jamele Hill. Dwayne Wade, sign me up.
Yeah, all the dimwit athletes are on Team Jamele Hill.
Up to Team Jamele Hill. All these people are coming out, they're supporting her. ESPN has put out a statement kind of distancing themselves from Jamele Hill, saying the comments on Twitter from Jamele Hill regarding the president do not represent the position of ESPN. We have addressed this with Jamele, and she recognizes her actions were inappropriate.
Once again, according to reports, they supposedly stepped to Michael Smith and brought up the topic of having Jamele Hill removed. To his credit, he said, no, we're a package deal, which is exactly what he's supposed to say. If that's who you're riding with, you ride with them till the end. Good for him.
Appropriate. However, they have not made a statement on what her continuing employment is going to be. Right now, currently, she is employed. They have not fired her. But what we're hearing is that there is a debate going on within the ESPN offices about what they're going to do.
Listen, this is in an extremely tough position for ESPN to be in. ESPN is owned by Disney, one of the
Look, she's wearing a T-shirt that says "Free Tom Brady," right? That says "free" and then a picture of Tom Brady underneath. Look, man. Look, I don't know how many times I got to tell you brothers this, man. The so-called liberal black woman is not your ally. All right? They say things for attention. Okay? That's why they say things for. They say things for attention. Now, you know, a real woman is concerned about her husband. That's number one. Yes, she's concerned about her people, but her number one focus is her husband. When you see these loudmouth liberal black women making these statements on social media, 9 times out of 10, they don't have no man. Now, allegedly, she got this guy at the gym who's blowing her back out, who's never gonna marry her. But they're not serious. I told you guys that a long time ago. They're not serious, and I think she's starting to understand that. But please, you know, I mentioned this already. The same way a female allegedly knows if she's going to make love to a guy or have sex with a guy within the first few minutes that she knows him, a guy knows if he's going to marry a broad after, you know, a short time that he's with the broad. You know, He knows if she's marriage material, and from then on, he's just waiting to see if she shows or exhibits any traits of being a nutty bitch. All right. That's why I tell you, brothers, it takes, 3 to 5 years of hard body being with a broad to take her seriously. All right. He's not going to marry her. She's too much of an attention monger and just a wild card in general. But all that was just, a lot of these liberal blacks, they're in their feelings right now. And to be quite frank with you, one of the main reasons why a lot of liberal black women are mad at Trump is not even the race angle. It's more how much he disregards females. They could tell and they could feel spiritually that he don't give two shits about their opinion. And that's really what's bothering them, is the feminist angle, which, like I've stated, is their main alter ego. Once again, brothers, please understand this. The liberal so-called pro-black woman, her main angle is feminism. It's not about race. Okay? Like I said, they play the race angle when it benefits them to get attention. All right? They'll jump on the racial topics to get attention. They don't really give two shits. If the so-called liberal black woman was that concerned about black men, she would stop aborting all those damn babies. All right? 15 million abortions the last 35 years. They're not that concerned about the plight of the so-called black man. All right? That shit is up to you to be concerned about and set everything aright. Okay? You read her commentary, there was nothing incisive about her comments. All she was doing was repeating what she heard other people say and emoting. And you got all these little silly ass pro-black dudes on the internet. Yeah, she got more balls than a lot of these niggas. Well, nigga, if you got so many, if your balls are swinging so damn low, how come I'm not seeing you on the news with an M16 firing off your shots for? Since you so damn militant. I love these guys. They run all around the internet trying to rouse everybody else up. Well, nigga, why don't you lead the way? The fuck out of here.
The largest corporations in the country, and I don't think that they want to have an adversarial relationship with the president of the United States. That is not good for their
But at the
business.
same
Why?
time,
I don't understand why that's not good for their business.
Why would one of the largest corporations want to be at odds with the president?
Now, Van Jones, the Negro in the middle, he's a liberal black, meaning he's rather simple. The Caucasian at the bottom, at the first box at the bottom, is trying to explain to him that it is not in ESPN's best interest to be at odds with Donald Trump. Right? Why would you want to be at odds with the, if not the leader of the so-called free world, a man in a very prominent position in the corporation known as the United States? Why would you want that for? Right? You would not want that. That's not good for business. Right? Now, suddenly certain information could come out about your organization that you don't want out. Certain financial situations going on at ESPN might be made public that you don't want out. Her rant was good for the brand of their show, but it was not good for ESPN. When you get at a higher level, you're talking about a subsidiary of Disney. Disney is used as an outlet for a lot of CIA mind control programs. Okay? One of the segments of the MK Ultra program is known as Disney programming. That's why you see a lot of child stars that come through the Disney program, also Nickelodeon, that end up becoming celebrities. Okay? There is a lot of CIA mind control experimentation that is done through Disney. That and a lot of social engineering projects that trickle down through ESPN. The whole the liberal, and also let me say this quickly, and I mentioned this before. I get a lot of numbnut Negroes who come on my channel and think that because I speak against liberal blacks and liberal white that I am a conservative. I'm not speaking according to political affiliations. I'm speaking according to ideologies. The liberal ideology is an offshoot of socialism, which is the chosen ideology of the international banks, because it convinces people to give up their private status. Okay, that's what that's about. Liberalism is where they push things, Luciferian doctrines and Luciferian beliefs, like the coming together of opposing forces, whether it be gender, sexual preference, or gender roles, things of that nature. Right, to breed and promote confusion. All right. I say all that to say this: Disney is a front for that. And when you get at the highest level of Disney, they're all working together. They have different philosophies on how to accomplish their goal, but they do all have similar goals, which is to put the capstone on the pyramid and to complete the work that Cush and Nimrod were not able to complete. Okay? So, those little ants working at the bottom of the pyramid, people like Michael Smith and Jamele Hill, they don't really understand what they're doing. All right? They're just being pawned out.
Look, there are economic policies. There are ways that Donald Trump can make their life harder.
Absolutely. School and Babcock.
So what you're saying is you think that the Trump administration would take retribution against Disney for something
what we're talking about there is politics. That's
absolutely. And every president will do that. You think that a president just going to let you sit there if you're in an affluent position and just talk shit about them and nothing happened? You think that Obama did that? You think that some of those homosexual lovers that Obama had in Chicago came up missing and came up dead for no reason, allegedly? You think Ron Brown's plane came crashing down during the Clinton administration for no reason, allegedly? You think that Ronald Reagan caught a hot one when George Bush Sr. was trying to become president before his time for no reason, allegedly? No, when you stand in people's way, they're going to let you know. I'm not going to let you stand in my way. Right now, Jamele Hill, she's like an ant on the ground. Donald Trump ain't thinking about her stupid ass. But, if he needs to, he will remove her. All right? He will do that. And that is a bad reflection on ESPN's overall goal, which is, to be an outlet for social engineering. They're not worried about making money. ESPN knows they're the gorilla of sports networks right now. Fox Sports 1 is a new pup. They're not worried about them. But at the same time, they do have to toe the line. All right. There's only so far that they understand that there's boundaries to what they're going to have their anchors say.
That's politics. Come on. What
I want to talk about, honestly, is like Jamele Hill is a person with an opinion, right?
Sure. Right.
She's not owned by ESPN.
No.
No, actually, she is. She is until she gets terminated. That's why she walked back some of her statements. And she said, those are just my personal views. They don't reflect ESPN. And I guarantee you she won't be making those statements on Twitter again. All right. Not if she knows what's good for her. So that means that she's owned by them. Yes, she is.
And she's allowed to have an opinion, and this was made on Twitter. Yeah. She's allowed to express her opinion. Some people are saying she should be allowed to express her opinion on Twitter. Other people are saying no way, because she's still a representative of ESPN when she's on Twitter too.
It's still, to me, interesting that the White House would get involved in this situation. Yeah.
No, they didn't get involved in this situation. This woman Huckabee was asked a question and she responded in kind. All right, that's what occurred. They didn't issue a statement and say we want Jamele Hill fired because we happen to hear about her statement. She was asked a question at a press conference.
I don't understand why they're.
You know who I want to hear from right now?
Who?
Jamele Hill. And so far, she's kind of been silent about this. I want to hear her reaction to the president and the White House saying
that. Doesn't that speak volumes that she hasn't responded?
Exactly. Babcock is the only one thinking. This woman is property of ESPN. As anybody who works for a major corporation and is a face of that corporation, or at least an ambassador or representative of that corporation is. Okay? A lot of you pro-black dudes, you could look at Jamele Hill and say, oh, that's Offset. That's my queen. She came and she repped for the people. She repped for the cause. You see, this broad was giving a lap dance to fucking Hugh Jackman. The white boy who played Wolverine in X-Men. She was giving him a lap dance 3 years ago. She was on Twitter co-signing that other hair hat on ESPN, Kerry Champion, dating the Caucasian Ryan Russillo. All right? That's what goes on at ESPN. There's a whole bunch of damn Luciferianism, a bunch of freakism going on. All those anchors all screwing each other. She's mad because she can't screw Michael Smith because Michael Smith is married. All right? Nothing but a bunch of nonsense. These people, they say a bunch of shit for fucking attention, man.
She sent that tweet out. She was very strong in her convictions, but now it said nothing.
I don't think it speaks volumes to what? It speaks volumes to what? It speaks volumes to
that she is maybe not able to talk about this at this point.
I think
exactly.
She's probably strategizing right now. Trying to figure out her next move.
Yeah, she's strategizing because we all know that, the liberal black female, she just, she's thought things out 10 steps ahead. They don't, we all know liberal black women, they don't just talk just to talk. They always are thinking before they talk. We all know they plotted things out. They know they're chess masters. They're not emotional at all. They don't ride the wave at all. They don't pay attention to what's going on social media at all. They're all independent thinkers, and they all, they're like brainiacs. They just have everything plotted out. Okay.
Thing for her to do is address this on her show. She probably doesn't want to do it in another 140 characters. She probably wants to have a long form where she can actually talk and tell people what she meant or why the company felt like it was wrong.
Well, I can tell you this is probably not the last we've heard about this beef, and we're going to be following this on the website, tvsports.com.
Anyway, in postscript, you heard nothing about it in regards to her addressing it on their show. Babcock proved to be right. She was shut down. She could not address it because she overstepped her bounds. I'm sure they made it look nice when they met with her, and they probably said, look, Jemele, we understand you have certain views. We even share some of your views. They'll try to make it look nice. Similar to the statements that I made in regards to that show Insecure, when they had the brother in the office, and, you had the two Caucasian bosses from management trying to let him down easy with the smiles. I'm sure they did the same. They gave her the same treatment when they called her into the office. But no, you're not going to reflect poorly on our brand and on our organization. That's not your job. Your job is to make a bunch of pop cultural references on ESPN at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time and talk about sports and, talk about, make a bunch of relationship analogies when you have not been able to have a productive relationship, as most liberal black females do. But anyway, brothers, don't get too caught up in this. I guarantee you, or I'm pretty sure, that she's most likely plugged into the so-called Black Lesbians Matter, or I'm sorry, Black Lives Matter movement, along with Kaepernick and Michael Bennett, which is why Kaepernick crawled out of his hole to give her the salute. But anyway, it is what it is, man. Peace.